everybody. I'm Sam, this is Kat here. We are doing transparency in engineering and what it means to be transparent. And also like how far you should go with transparency because it's not always necessarily a good thing. First of all, what it means to be transparent. Transparency simply means that a company or organization is open with how it conducts business and its assets and spending are known to the public. In engineering, transparency comes from sharing information on an everyone needs to know basis rather than, or like everyone knows basis rather than a needs to know, meaning that anytime there's like a relevant time to share information for a mutual benefit, that would be like mutually beneficial, there we go, to the project or like community, then it should be shared. Anytime it's something that's like, I don't know, would potentially destroy, I guess, the integrity of the company, it probably doesn't need to be shared because it might be like confidential information.
So lack of transparency in a company can potentially cause problems with the public and different shareholders and things like that. There are definitely lots of examples of this, like even here in BC. I don't know if you know about what Kinder Morgan was doing with the salmon nets. There was like a lack of transparency there, where they just started laying down these anti-spawning nets, and now they're in big trouble with like environmental agencies and stuff like that. Also, with some of the fish processing plants, they're dumping tainted blood water directly into spawning salmon. I've got a picture that's on our poster there.
Yeah, we got that nice baby blue poster in the window.
Yeah, and they're finding that the salmon are being infected, and nobody had any idea this was happening until somebody actually went and looked at it. It's kind of gross. So yeah, that could put a permanent mark on the entire industry if the whole industry is found to be doing it. So far, everyone looked at has been doing this. So.
Also, just in terms of transparency, the main things in a business to be transparent about are obviously payroll. If especially if all the members of the company know the division of pay, it creates less of a rift between CEOs and other management, and everyone seems to get together better. More examples, I guess in terms of businesses, there's that whole Wall Street thing where there's such a rift between the CEO pay division and normal corporate employees that the CEO bonuses were probably 400 times the percentage of all the combined assets of the company, and that's just kind of corrupt and unjust and bad. There's also the need for sharing of information, because as engineers we all benefit better if we're all on the same page and everyone's sharing. Obviously, if you're developing weapons technology and stuff like that, you don't want to release that information and be transparent about that, because that kind of just defeats the whole purpose of developing missiles and trying to blow up other people. Because if you share a missile with someone else, it's oh, what's the point of that? Now we can just build something to counteract that.
Caleb, Jacob, and Ian? I found your names on your posters. So you are A. They are A. A. Not EHA, but did I stop that? Nope. Of course I didn't.